Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing lovers and liars. So we're not going to do any hot goss. We're just going to jump right in to these episodes. So we're going to be doing the last two episodes, so episodes 6 and 7 in this one episode. And then we should be pretty good standing after that. So let's jump into season 1, episode 6. Who is Bill Murray? Well, Nikki's here. She's like, listen, I got something planned to help you guys kind of figure out who's a nice girl and who's an F girl. It's gonna be the douche tank. If you remember the douche tank. Now, usually with the douche tank, when we've watched like F Boy Island, it's been obviously the men going in there and getting dunked with water. It's still going to be the men getting dunked with water in this as well. They're not going to put the women in there to them potentially get soaking wet, and it's just gross. So the men are still going to be dunked. The women are still going to be asked questions by the other two, and then if they think the girl's an F girl or the guy in the tank gets douched. So we're kind of gonna go through some of the questions that were asked, some of the people that were asked. We're kind of going all over the place. So, Camille, are you friends with? Sorry, Hannah, are you friends with Camille? Right, and this was after she was asked, "Do you like who are you worried about?" kind of thing, in terms of like who's gonna like be picked over you. And she's like, this was Hannah. She's like, Camille, and she's like, are you friends with her? And she's like, can't answer that. What? Then, okay, if you're going to be friends with somebody, then just admit you're friends with them. If you're not going to be friends with them because you're trying to self-preserve, then just say so. It was very weird. But Casey gets douched. So Sabrina, can you see a future with Casey? And she says yes. Okay, he's safe right now. And Camille, do you know who Bill Murray is? Because the first question was asked, what's Casey's dog's name's Bill Murray? And I think it was asked of her, like, do you even know who Bill Murray is? And she's like, no, I don't know who he is. How do you not know who Bill Murray is? He's Bill Murray. Jan Danielle seems to, I think it was Jan Danielle. Actually, no, it was Jan Danielle, sorry. I kept really confused between Jan Danielle and Danny. It's actually Danny. Seems to really love athletes. Who should, like, Benny not trust? Jan Danielle. Jan Danielle at that point comes for Lauren pretty hard, and then Sydney is so fucking fake. It's obvious that CJ gets douched because of it. That's kind of it for the douche tank. Everyone gets douched on. It is what it is. So Hannah is friends with Camille. We find out later, but is then talking shit about Camille. Like, you're not a good friend, clearly. It's apparently being said about her that she flies out to Turks and Caicos all the time, or she gets going on Turks and Caicos, and how she's like going with guys and whatever. So when she talks to CJ, she says, I'm not going with guys, I'm going with friends. But Kiera might be lying, because Jocelyn literally starts laughing and she says, you literally told us you were with a man. Like, we're not making this up. We're going to get some information on this in a bit. But Benny is on a date now with Jan Danielle, or like a mini date, whatever, with her. And it's nice. It's cute. They have this cute little silk pajamas and they're doing like pillow fights and it was cute. But Benny does wonder. Sorry, back up. Benny is like painting her toes and she says, I hate it because she doesn't like people touching her feet. I get it. I don't want people touching my feet either. But then she paints his ugly ass toes because he has an ugly ass toe. He's like, why does his big toe bend like that? And Danielle does say, kind of hard for her to say this, but she says she's happy. And I wrote, like, this is kind of an interesting twist. We have this girl who's a self-proclaimed F girl we knew from the beginning, and she actually seems to be falling for him. It's not like F Boy Island last time where that fucking guy, what was his name? Who was with, what was her name? Can't remember her name now. And he was like self-proclaimed F-boy through and through. And, yeah, so she comes back to the ladies after, and the other women are, shooting a brick because she's like, they had a great date, like she feels happy with him and all these things, and she thinks that something's definitely happening. And Jocelyn's like, while the women are clearly shitting a brick, JD is kind of like, listen, I get why he likes Jocelyn. Jocelyn's great. But why Lauren? Because does she really talk like that? She doesn't fucking talk like that. She does it's like the Ariana Grande effect. It's true though, she does talk like breathy. It's weird. It has to be put on. I'm kind of with her, with JD on that one. But anyway, now it's the next day and CJ's here for a date and he's taking Danny, and there's a silence from all of them in there. And he's like, that's telling because like everyone's usually pretty supportive of the women getting dates. But for some reason, when Danny's being picked, no one's supportive. That's weird. So Sydney is pissed because she says he told me that the next date was going to be my date. And it's then not my date. And someone's like, yeah, that pissed me off too. And then here is Casey, and he is also going to be, taking someone on a date. And that person is Camille. And Michi's like, what the fuck? Anyway, they're going to be doing these 2 dates. Let's do CJ's first. So CJ is like, we get to, through this drama, I think. Does he have drama with Danny? I'm confused. But anyways, so why are you attracted to athletes, Danny? And I didn't like her answer because she's like, guys that are hardworking, don't sit on their ass and stuff. Which I'm like, you don't have to date an athlete to find someone who is hardworking, who doesn't sit on their ass. My man's not an athlete, although, he does go to the gym, but like, he's not an athlete. And he's still one of the most hardworking men I've ever met. So it's just like, no, you have a kink. Your kink is athletes. Just own it. But that also doesn't necessarily mean she's an F girl because she likes athletes. It just means she has a type. No matter how weird like her fixation may be, it's a kink. But that doesn't make her an F girl. But she does say, like, I have been hurt by athletes. So I prefer date athletes. Like, I've been hurt by athletes. That makes me crazy. And he's like, well, that shows me, like, if you've been hurt by athletes, you're not going to really necessarily flaunt that you've dated athletes. You wouldn't do that. Right. So anyways, he seems to believe her, I guess. I'm still on the fence with Danny, but we'll see. Casey and Camille, they're making candles. And he says, everyone is, keeps saying, she's talking shit, but what if she's not talking shit and she's just telling the truth? People can't handle the truth. And he also can't understand how she doesn't know who Bill Murray is. Go so on that. And he, what's Caddyshack that he is Bill Murray in Caddyshack? Because I can't remember if I've seen Caddyshack actually. I feel like I've seen it once or twice, but it's not really one of my top choices. But I mean, Ghostbusters. I mean, you know what I mean? There's been so many other Osmosis Jones. There's another movie he did with Melissa McCarthy that was really good too. But I'm like, it's Bill Murray. Oh, Groundhog Day. There's the one that they did one of the adaptions of A Christmas Carol where he was a Scrooge or some shit. I can't remember the movie was called now, but I watched that movie quite a bit at one point in my life, and I loved that movie. It's Bill Murray. How do you go through life not knowing who Bill Murray is? Maybe for today's generation, we can say, oh, Bill Murray is rumored to be dating. Who was he rumored to be dating? Was it Black China? There was some black. Oh, no. It was. What's her name? The one who does the milkshakes, brings her boys to the yard. That one. I can't remember her name. Wasn't he dating her at one point or somebody? Maybe today's generation will know him in that sense. But it's Bill Murray. I'm also not over it, but Camille's not that young. Like, she's maybe early 20s or maybe mid 20s now, but again, Ghostbusters. I'm just, okay. Camille's an interesting one. Anyways, let's move on. He says to her that he's in love with her. I'm like, oh no, Casey, no. And then again, I don't know what her status is, those who watched the 7th episode, but I'm like, oh, Casey, no. Because I'm not sure about her. But she says that she is falling in love with him. Okay. Let's move on. Now it's the mixer. And CJ pulls Kara aside first. So he says, so you're lying? Because when I was with you before, you told me you were with your bestie. Not guys, but like everyone else is saying that you were with guys or a guy or whatever. And she says, I went to Turks and Caicos with my girl, with my bestie. There were guys there because it was like a year and a half ago. I was single. And he's like, you left that part out. Here's my thing. Even if she went to Turks and Caicos with her bestie and maybe there was guys there, maybe guys, they met up with guys there or they knew people there or whatever the case may be, who gives a shit? She's allowed to do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Let's not confuse a girl who maybe doesn't want to fuck around and find out, right? And a nice girl. Let's not confuse the fact that even if you are a nice girl who potentially wants a relationship with somebody, it is still gonna fuck around and find out every once in a while. Like, I've really never truly, I mean, at one point I did, but I've never really truly got to a point where I'm like, fuck relationships. I want nothing to do with them. But I was still fucking around and finding out and having fun. Like, don't mix the two things up. So she is, in my mind, I mean, at this point, I'm not sure. But let's play devil's advocate. She is a nice girl who fucked around and found out. Like, who cares? Do you? We all gotta do us at some point, you know? But anyway. Then we see Casey with Hannah. And he says he wants more from her. And Lauren, I think it was Lauren, says, I'm the best. She says to Penny, I'm the best. Okay, Jen Danielle, you know, she sucks. Okay? And the other one, Jaslyn, she's a bottle service girl. She lives with her parents. So, So we're going to shame her for living with her parents. I think what he's trying to say is that, of course, she's going to come in for the 100K because she's a bottle girl, so a bottle girl, and it's just bottle service, and she lives with her parents. 50K also solves that problem. It's not the end all be all because she whatever. And don't bottle girls like make good money for the most part? I don't know where she lives. Like, I think that's all dependent, but they can make good money. So what's her argument here? It's so fucked up. Anyways, but you're saying she's the best here, and he's like, "Oh, damn." CJ talks to Sydney, and she's like, I am on social media. Sure, I'm a social media person, but I'm also a nurse. And CJ's like, well, you could have fucking led with that. Well, why wouldn't she have led with that? Let me tell you why she didn't leave with that. Because it doesn't help her F girl status. I'm sorry, the minute I saw my girl say, if you're 6'5" with tats, hit me up, I knew she was an F girl. Immediately. Come on. Come on. So then Camille goes to talk to Casey, and y'all, he is just aggressively making out with Michi. And like Michi is straddling him. And she's like, oh my God. And she goes over to Bishop, Penny. And he's like, what? And she's like, what do I do if he's making out with somebody? What do I do? Because he's making out with somebody. I want to stop it. What do I do? Camille. And Benny says, you get over there and you kiss him on the other cheek then. Benny. And Camille's like, I don't think I should do that. Smartest thing she's ever said. I don't think I should do that. That seems weird. And this is so fucking perfect. Casey, I love you. He literally, I think, notices maybe the commotion, sees it's Camille while Michi is still straddling him, and he literally pushes her off of him by the boob. I don't know if anyone caught that. He literally pushed her aside by pushing her by the boob area. Casey. And Michi's like, I'm sure she saw me. And I love the fact that she saw me. Of course you do, Michi. Come on. The thing with Michi, she's an F girl, but I like her. Like, I like her. I actually really like Michi. Even if she takes the 100K and dips, I like her. But that is it for the mixer, because here comes Nikki. It's elimination time. So let's jump into it. So everyone thinks that CJ for some reason looks like Michael Jackson. I guess it's jacket, I guess. But I think like the very first thing that's said in this mixer from one of the ladies to CJ was, so did you steal that from Michael? Like, what's going on? And then when they're heading into the elimination, CJ's like, tonight's going to be a little bit of a thriller. We're just feeding it. Anyway. So Benny's bottom two is Lauren and Fa. CJ's bottom two is Sydney and Kara. Casey's bottom two is Hannah and Sabrina. Casey just wonders if the connection with Sabrina is even strong enough. And she says, you know what? I have nothing to say to support myself, because if you want toxicity in your life, then it's not me. Damn, Sabrina. Hannah is pretty shocked that she's here in the first place. And Benny says, Fa, you have money. And Fa, that's not gonna be Benny, because Benny's a comedian and probably doesn't have a lot of money. Okay. Anyway. So she says, yeah, so he says, because of this, I think you're an F girl. Of course, she defends herself, but anyways, CJ is like, Kara, you might not be who I think you are. You might be this girl who's getting flown out to Turks and Caicos and shit, so like, I don't know. And Kara says, she's been waiting for a man just like CJ. It was at this point I'm like, she's an F girl, right? We'll see. Or will we? I don't know. But so then we're kind of, the women being picked. First it's Fa, but then it's CJ's turn to pick his girl. And instead of picking his girl, he's like, I need a minute. This is not going to be the only time that CJ bows the fuck out before we finish the elimination process. It's going to happen in the next episode too. A little more understandable. But anyways, he bows out. He needs a minute. But he comes back and Danny's like, dramatic much? True. But he comes back and he ends up with saying Sydney. Casey says Sabrina. So, what are you ladies? Sabrina is a nice girl. I think it's pretty obvious anyways. She's like, it's obvious though, right? Because I wasn't really getting anything else, right? Anyways. She says you chose someone who insults you to everybody else, and she just wants the clout. And she says, Michi's a great person, so pick her. And I wrote, the fuck? Because I'm going to try to remember to talk about it the next episode, because, whoa. But here's the thing. It's funny too. We're kind of breaking down the wall here a little bit, because when she says that Camille was a clout chaser, she says, I don't need the clout. I have followers. Yeah, you do, Camille. Yeah, you do. So anyway, yeah, she's done. And Fa is an F girl. I'm not surprised. That's pretty obvious. Because you see how you're being like she likes money, then please. But she said she was actually gonna split the money. Interesting. And she says, pick Kiara. She's it. And then Sydney is an F girl. No shit. Again, no shit. None of this was hard. And she's like, respectfully, I would have split the money. Respectfully, like, I did come here as an F girl, but like, respectfully, I think you'd be picking Fufa, who the fuck. Anyways, respectfully, F girl, F bi. She keeps saying respectfully to the point where Nikki at the end is like, respectfully, I'm gonna leave. But that is that. Again, no surprise that Sydney was an F girl. No surprise that Fa was an F girl. We're doing good. We're doing good. But that is it for episode 6. We're going to take a quick break and then we will head into episode 7. And I'm back with episode 7. I put a spell on you and your mind. That's the, well, it's just I put a spell on you. Anyways, so there's just a duck walking around the pool. Where did this duck come from? But here comes CJ. And he's going to be taking Kiara on a date. And they're going to do this kind of cute little teleport into the future, I guess, to see what they would kind of look like when they're old and gray. It's cute. Meanwhile, India's like, I gotta start preparing my cue cards, to say to CJ. And I'm like, cue cards. Like, you can't just say something from the heart. I think you might be an F girl. But anyways, back at the date, dancing, and she says, I'm a nice girl, but I get why people think I'm an F girl. F girls are strong, and I am strong, just not an F girl. Don't get confused. Anyway, here comes Nikki out of nowhere, and Nikki's going to be in her quote-unquote office to lend an ear to those people who might need to talk. And therapist Nikki is in the room. We always got her. And here she is for the season. So Jen Danielle says she missed Burning Man for this. She's like, yeah, you didn't go to Burning Man, instead you got a Tanning Man. And she says she feels kind of crazy, I guess, for maybe having feelings for Betty. Who knows? And then India, because we're just kind of skipping over everybody else. It's not important because we're getting to the juice. India is in her session and she's like, I have a secret. Oh, what's your secret, India? What is it? Huh? 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 She says, I'm an F girl. And I'm like, oh, I was not expecting India to say she was an F girl. That actually shook me. I'm like, oh, I got that all wrong. But she's in that, well, towards the end there, sorry to wonder. But in the beginning, I was like, she's nice. She's an F girl. She's like, I don't like him. Shit, India, tell us how you really feel. She's like, no, I don't like him. And she's like, so you wouldn't even split the money with him? She's like, no, that's not what I came here for. She wants to take the 100K to not only get a boob job, but she would also like to help renovate her mom's home. I thought that was sweet, even if she is an F girl. I'm kind of behind her on that. But yeah, so that's the big bomb. Michi claims that her feelings for Casey are real. I don't know. Hannah is going on a date with Casey, and it's gonna be tequila time. Meanwhile, Benny is talking to Jan Danielle, and they good for now. But back to the date, Casey is like, it is concerning that you are kind of besties with Camille, because like, are you scheming with Camille? Are you plotting against Camille? Like, what's going on here? But Hannah says, if you are worried about F girls, look at the others, because it's not me. She has a point. Or does she? Then he tells her he's falling for her. What? Here's the thing. I can understand him maybe saying it about Camille because they've had this connection from the very beginning. Hannah obviously didn't come in from the very beginning, but I just don't see the same connection he has with Camille or even Michi for that matter. It was weird. I'm like, I feel like this came out of nowhere personally. I don't understand the connection with Hannah, but that's besides the point. Then CJ is talking to India. Let's see her cue cards in action. So, she's like, how important is sex to you? And he kind of is giving the just safe, mundane version of how important sex is to him. And I was like, my guy, please cut this shit. You are a monster. All men freaking are to some extent. And don't sit here trying to be like, I don't know, the connection of our bodies is, therapeutic or some shit. I don't know. Tell her you want to ravish her. Because that's what, as much as I'm like, I love that intimate shit too every once in a while. Ravish me. That's what we want to hear. So I'm a little, even though I know she's an F girl, and I'm usually she don't give a shit, I agreed with her here because she's like, I'm bored. And she's like, I'm just scheming up the next question because like I'm bored by these answers. I've tuned them out. Me too. To the point where I don't even really know what he said. I didn't write it down because I was like, what? But anyways. And Hannah comes back from her date and she says, the date went well. But Michi, you're here for clout. Camille, you're just here for yourself. And I'm going to leave here with him. Are you now? And Michi's like, how do I need clout, babe? I have followers. And Hannah's like, don't call me babe. Casey's already done that enough today. Whoa. And I think it was, yeah, Hannah asked me, she's like, weren't you inquiring about how to make money on TikTok? And she's like, I don't need to make money on TikTok. I don't want to make money on TikTok. She's like, I don't make money on social media, bitch. I love the way she's like, bitch. And this was so weird. Hannah's like, I don't know why you're calling me a bitch because you don't even know me. Here we go again. She doesn't need to know you, but anyways, you don't even know me. And you're being a little girl, so like, shut the fuck up kind of situation. And I'm just like, Hannah, but you started this. And then Jan Danielle at this point's like, you shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Let's everybody just go fucking in bed and let's go get to sleep. I hope both of you get the fucking hangovers, so you both shut the fuck up. Jan Danielle for the win. Anyways, now it's the next day. And Benny's here and he had a date with Jocelyn. And he tells her, I don't care like that you're a bottle girl or that you live with your parents. Of course, what I do care about is if you're here for the 100K and shit, but I don't care about anything else. It's fine. And that's basically it. There's not much else to say about that. But now it's mixer time. And Lauren teaches Benny Tagalog. Hope I said that right. Because they're going to go to the Philippines. Duh. So they need to learn. And they are going, sorry, said that already. Hannah tells Casey that she is falling in love with him. Again, where, when, how, what did I miss? Because I just don't understand how either one of these two can say they have feelings for the other. It is, I don't get it. I don't get it. He's shook by this, and so am I. And he's like, I just want to be your boyfriend. What? Again, am I missing something? Because I just don't see the connection. I just don't see it. Anyways, meanwhile, Michi and Camille are doing a spell. And they're using her like tanning thing to do the spell. Because after all, it's a full moon. Okay? So, you know, I think at one point they're going to the spot they're going to go do in the backyard. And I think it was, who did they walk by? Was it Betty or CJ? Let me see if I wrote down. Let's see. So I know I wrote it down. Yeah, it was CJ. You have like CJ being like, what's going on? Not you. He's like, oh, okay. So they go and like do the spell. She's chanting shit in Spanish, and they do whatever they gotta do. And meanwhile, in the background, while they're chanting, you have Casey and Hannah making out. You have CJ is with Kiara, and they're like, what the fuck? CJ like, what is happening? And Kiara's like, spells. The twin spells. And he's like, oh. But then they finish the spell and I'm like, now what? I think we should throw it away. Throw away the tanning thingy and just throw it away. Maybe we should bury it. I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know. We'll see if there is any effect. JD is with Benny and he says, people talk. Okay, people talk. And she's like, who? And he's like, I'm just wondering, are you here for me? Don't ruin this. Don't fucking ruin this. Spoiler alert. It's about to get ruined. And Casey is talking to Camille and he tells her, sure, I like Michi and Hannah, but I guess he's saying he loves her. Jesus, Casey, I want him to abort mission. Or do I? Because now it's elimination time. Oh, wait. Hold on. A little bit of a twist in this elimination day. But before we say what the twist is, we got the 3 hottest men since Riverdale was canceled. And I'm like, yeah, I still have to finish Riverdale. Anyways, We are topic. Nikki is like, guess what, guys? We're actually not going to be doing an elimination tonight. Instead, we have this thing called the conch, the conch of power or some shit. And whoever is holding the conch of power gets to reveal one woman status. Only one. Usually at this point, we get everyone's status, but maybe that's more to once we eliminate another person, then we get their status. I'm not sure. We will see in the next episode. But I'm just like, ooh. So, the first person who's going to be revealing is Benny. And he ends up picking, no surprise to anybody, Jan Danielle. And she's shitty at work. And she kind of says, all the thrills and the really shit that you would say in this point. And she says, I am so sorry, but I'm an F girl. And Benny is fucking destroyed because wasn't it not 2 seconds ago, he literally said, don't ruin this. Don't ruin it. And here it is being ruined. And he ends up just walking away from her while she's talking. He just walks away because someone walks out and she says, I really just want to run away right now because he's hurting. I hate that he's hurting. Like, I think she actually just kind of cares about him. I don't know. It's crazy. But he comes back and he says, you looked me dead in my face and you lied to me. Well, that's the name of the game, Benny. Didn't you not do the same thing last season? Pot, we cuddle. Anyways. Now it's CJ's turn and he's picking Kara. And India's quite happy. I wonder why. And Kara is a nice girl. Who knew? And he's loving the fact that she is. It's great. But next is Casey. And at that point, you're just like, well, obviously he's picking Camille because of the roller coaster that they've been on, the unsurety, that's not a word, of her status. Of course he's picking her. And of course he picks her. And so when it comes time for her to reveal herself, she kind of says, well, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I hope that we can get past this. I really do. But, I'm, y'all, she's a fucking nice girl. When I say the what that escaped my lips when I heard her say she was a nice girl, I'm like, am I? Is something wrong? Because I am shocked. Now, I'm going to put a theory out here now that we know this because Casey is over the moon that she's a nice girl. Obviously, I think he really does like her. But I remember saying in the beginning of this season that I would be shocked if Camille was a nice girl. Color me shocked. And because the way she presented herself on Below Deck with Ben, I figured this girl's an F girl. There's just no way now. Maybe Ben's the problem. I think we're learning Ben's the problem because I have a theory. So if you remember, for those people who've watched Below Deck, which again I know I haven't done Below Deck in a minute, maybe I'll do something quick at the end here actually. But I haven't. For those who've watched it, if you remember when he kind of does the, oh, Sonny, I don't think we're gonna work out. Oh, let me go call my ex now. And that completely flopped on him. I have a theory. I do wonder if it didn't pan out anything because she's moved on with Casey and she can't air that yet, that she's moved on with someone else. I'm just saying, because I do know we've been hearing about F Girl Island or Lovers and Liars since not long after F Girl Island ended. So I'm gonna say that's been maybe a little less than a year, but Below Deck has been filmed Well, I've been over a year. Well, either way, I think the timelines are somewhat coming together. And I do wonder if she's in a relationship with Casey, but she's obviously can't post that yet. I do wonder. It's interesting. Just saying. I don't know. Or maybe she doesn't give a shit about Ben and Matt works too. I don't know. But anyway, that is kind of my theory with that. But yeah, um, Hannah is like, what the fuck? Like, I literally just told him how I was feeling about him and everything. And then I see him getting so excited that Camille's a nice girl. But that is the end of episode 7. And we do get a next time on where basically it kind of looks like people are still coming for Camille. And it looks like people are also still coming for Kiara, even though those are the two people who have just admitted they're nice girls. Like, I'm confused. But anyways, that's it for this episode. Again, I said I would do something really quick for Below Deck at the end here, so I'll just jump into it. I don't really have much to say. We're nearing the end of this. The one thing I'm going to say, though, is these guys are great. It's perfect. Captain Carey is on a rampage, and I'm with him with the whole situation with Ben and Kyle not doing their fucking work, knowing there's going to be a cabin inspection, and you just say, fuck you. Ben's an asshole because through the whole thing, he's like basically calling out Captain Carey, like, fuck you, Ben. Really and truly. I just want to yell at the rooftops, fuck you, Ben. You're an asshole. And Kyle, don't let this fucker rope you in because it's not fucking worth it. Because there was other things too that happened earlier that, kind of pissed Carrie off, and Ben's pissed off that Captain Carey is pissed off, and it's just like, and then, yeah, we're so busy and hard workers, yet you and fucking Sunny are fooling around like a couple of idiots. Like, I'm so over Ben. I'm so fucking over him. But I mean, again, that's really all I have to say because it's not much really going on right now. Next episode, there will be an episode because, whoa, there's going to be dicks. Although Barbie asks for there are no dicks for the world to see, but there's going to be dicks or a dick, But anyways, that's it for this quick, tiny little recap of Below Deck. This is it for Lovers and Liars, for this episode. But yeah, that's it. So if you like what you heard, please rate, review the podcast on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, don't forget that you can also share us with everyone in your life if you really love this. And I do want to read those reviews. I'm definitely getting 5-star ratings, but I want to read those reviews. So send me those reviews and I will read those 4 and 5-star reviews on the podcast. Also, we're on every one of your favorite podcast apps. Every one of them, including you can find us on YouTube at Reality Tea Times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by going to either Facebook or Instagram at Reality Tea Times 2. You can also find us on Twitter, TikTok, Reddit at Reality Tea Times 2 pod. We also have our email, which is at realityteatimes2 at hotmail.com. Definitely want to hear from you guys. And we also have our new website where you can listen to all of these episodes. You can review the podcast on there as well. You can connect with me in any way, all the stuff. It's all there, and you can find me there at www.realityteatimes2, all spelled out, .podpage.io. It's there. And don't forget, I also have my other podcast with my friend Mikkel, Next Week Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of different topics. But you can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps over there as well. Or you can also go to YouTube and you go to Next Take Podcast, as well as our website, which is solo.to/Next Take Podcast. So yeah, there's that, and that's basically that. And again, don't forget, if all of this information is overwhelming, we do have all of the links, everything in our show notes. But that is it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye.